Croatia's players celebrate their victory over France after the Davis Cup World Group Final. Getty, Tim Wigmore 14 minutes Friday, January 11, 2019. Imagine a sport with 2 World Cups in 8 weeks. The players, countries and format are almost the same, only the trophy and name are different. This is men's tennis today. Last November in Lille, Croatia defeated France 3-1, to secure the ultimate team prize in tennis. As they did so, they bid adieu to the entire traditions of the competition. Ever since 1900, the Davis Cup has been played with nations competing against each other home or away, progressing over the year to the standalone final. Now, the top 18 countries will descend on a city, this year, Madrid in November, for a week, playing against each other in groups, and then knockout rounds, with the aim of creating a World Cup of tennis. The reforms, voted through by 71% of federations, with Great Britain among those opposed, are driven by the belief that the Davis Cup has lost its luster because the best players are taking part too rarely. And the International Tennis Federation, the global governing body, argue, a reformed tournament worth much more cash will enable the sport to turbocharge its development efforts around the globe. The new Davis Cup is bankrolled by a 25-year deal with Cosmos, an investment group founded by Barcelona footballer Gerard Piqué. Just the start. The snag is that, 2 months after the restructured Davis Cup, the ATP's version will arrive, 24 teams taking part over 10 days. The format for the tournament run by the governing body of men's tennis is essentially identical, except each group will have 4 teams rather than 3. Last year ATP executive chairman Chris Kermode said it would be insane to hold 2 wannabe World Cups so close together. In the background lurks the Laver Cup, the team tournament between Europe and the rest of the world, founded in 2017 and driven by Roger Federer's management company. Read more. Tennis has reached a crossroads. Where it turns next could define it for years to come, and yet this existential fight is just the start of tennis's age of tumult. Consider some of the other ideas floating around the sport. A 25-second shot clock, ticking down before each serve, was introduced in last year's US Open and will now feature in the Australian Open too. The ATP's next-gen tournament, for the best players aged 21 and under, has embraced a bizarre pick and mix of rules, including sets on a first-to-4 basis, sudden death adieux, players allowed to be coached on court, and fans free to roam in and out of the stadium during points. Even Wimbledon has dared the change. From this year, there will be a tie-break at 12 games all in the final set. Not that this simplifies matters for fans. Now, each Grand Slam has a different way of deciding matches, which reach 6-6 in the deciding set. These changes are the best understood as a window into much broader tensions engulfing tennis, between tradition and modernity, a belief that tennis can go on as it has or that it must regenerate if it is to avoid being left behind after the men's Big Four and the Williams sisters have faded from view. Such angst is hardly confined to tennis. From cricket to basketball and baseball, the pace of play is a uniform obsession of administrators catering to fans in the attention-deficient age. Lacking coherence, yet these debates also reflect tennis's unique position in the sporting ecosystem. For 15 years, it has been sustained by the twin forces of the men's Big Four and the Williams sisters. Without these players to sustain it, tennis's fissures come into sharper focus. Tennis also occupies a curious position as a sport, as a global game, and yet rarely above the 3rd or 4th most popular in a country. This provides copious opportunities, but dangers too. Worldwide, the average age of viewers of the ATP Tour has increased from 51 to 61 since 2000, though overall viewing has increased in that period. The commercial motivation behind these multifarious changes is inescapable. Just consider the explanation for coaches being allowed to communicate with players during ATP Next-Gen matches, doing so as a way of providing additional content and entertainment value for broadcast. And that, really, is the point of all of this. From the Champions League to the Indian Premier League, reforms motivated by greed have often created compelling sport. That may yet prove the case with tennis too. But, for now, the reforms seem so numerous, and so lacking in coherence, that all that is being created is a smorgasbord of confusion. More tennis.